So I've been looking for a keyboard replacement and it has been frustrating to say the least. I guess I'm exceptionally picky, but hey, that's what keyboards are all about, right? People have preferences, and ultimately at the end of the day, you should get what you want. So please try not to kink shame me as I explain my preferences. I think there's a lot of people who actually fall into my niche, and this product might be for you if that's the case, so just hear me out here. I like chiclet keys. I know that's kind of weird, right? I'm talking like a MacBook, not the butterfly switches, like the 2010 era MacBook keyboard switches, not switches, but keys. And that's partially because I spent and currently spend 8+ hours per day typing on either a Mac or Windows chiclet keyboard on laptops, and I'm used to it. And I generally like the slight spacing between the keys and the relatively lower key travel to a point. Like I said, not the butterfly switches, but I do like lower key travel. I like the tactile feedback and I like the key spacing. That being said, I do love me some mechanical switches, specifically the Collie Box Browns. So my quest to replace my current keyboard has been horrible. I mean, I even went to Micro Center, I went to Best Buy, and I really just wasn't satisfied with anything. I ended up buying switch testers, and that's how I settled on the Box Browns. I even bought a keyboard that was with the Box Brown switches before returning it, and frankly, it was too loud, even pretty much unless you live in a home that is yourself and not attached to another house. I would not recommend going clicky mechanical, and the Box Browns aren't even clicky, they're just mechanical, but they do make noise, and ultimately there was just too much travel on those keys for what I was comfortable and what I was used to. So what is the answer? Well, apparently it is the Keychron K3, a slim, low travel, optical switch 70% keyboard, and that is what we are going to be talking about in today's review. And let's start with the unboxing. It was a fairly pleasant unboxing experience. I don't really have much else to say. I mean, the packaging was premium. The shipping did kind of suck and took a long time, and I've been hearing that a lot of people who ordered it months ago are still waiting on theirs. However, after I paid that $20 shipping fee and everything came, it was a very pleasant unboxing experience. The only thing that I wish was included would be a longer braided USB-C cable. It is nice that it's fully detachable braided USB-C cable. I do wish that there were some extra switches included in the event that you bust one of yours up, which I'll talk about a bit later. And I do wish that there was other keycap sets from Keychron, either keycap sets that you could buy from them or options at the time of purchase. But it does come with the key puller, which is nice, the switch puller, and it does come with Mac as well as window keys and accented keys for the light button and the escape key. The build of the keyboard is actually pretty solid, feels good. It's very small, it's surprisingly light, and yeah, this thing is small. I mean, compared to even a penny, it is small. This really does feel like closer to a laptop keyboard than as far as dimensions go, right? It feels like you could put this on a laptop. It's a 70% keyboard and it would fit right in. Of course, the switches do come up a bit and it is a bit taller, but you get the idea. The features that come on this keyboard are RGB, and the video that I took doesn't really give it justice. It is very impressive to me. There's lots of different patterns you can run through, several colors that you can assign to those patterns, and the keys are well illuminated, well lit. The patterns are really strong. The lighting is actually really good. That's what I don't think shines through in the video. They're individually lit keys, and it really does look quite nice. And it is a Bluetooth keyboard, very easy to pair for both Mac, Windows, and Android. Now, the switches, the typing experience on this keyboard, right? I have the red and the brown switches, and there's going to be a type test at the end, which I'll leave you to decide if they're loud or quiet, whatever. But the key travel is perfect. It's slightly more than those chiclet style, older MacBook laptops that I've been talking about. There's definitely travel, but it's nowhere near as much as a traditional mechanical keyboard. It is there though, and I like that. It's very satisfying, but not too much. And the red switches are the linear switches. Those are basically whisper quiet. They're extremely quiet compared to every switch I tested in the big box retail stores, and every switch I tested on my switch tester, and every other keyboard that I've used on the mechanical side. These are optical switches, but the red linear switches are very, very, very quiet. And yeah, I mean, they're linear. Not much to say except they're linear, which if you like that, you like that. I have instead opted to stick with the brown permanently, I think. I might be switching back maybe in a few months, but I did a few days with the reds, and I kind of knew in my heart that I wanted the browns. Like I said, I like the tactile feel. However, I was worried about the sound profile of them, that they'd be too loud just based on my prior experience with tactile switches. And I'm happy to say that, to me, they are totally fine. Like, I would probably use the brown switches in my office. It pretty much sounds like using any keyboard if you're just going at it. That's not, if you hammer on it, yeah, it'll sound louder than a more traditional membrane keyboard. However, just general typing, I mean, it does not sound loud at all to me. I'm very happy with the sound profile. And like I said, the sound test will be at the end, and we will be comparing it to a MacBook Air keyboard from 2013. Switching the keys is something that you can do with this keyboard, and for me, this was my first time swapping actual switches. I've swapped keycaps before, but never full switches, and it took me a little over an hour to swap this 70% keyboard keys, and it felt like it should be much easier. I used Keychron's switch puller, and I used their website for guidance on how to do this, so I'm pretty sure I did it right. However, it needs a lot of energy and force. It feels like you're about to break them, and you really gotta dig in to get those little guys out. That would be something that I would hope that they could improve in the future, and it didn't feel great doing it. It was doable, and I did it, but it's not something I'd want to do too many times, if we're going to be honest here. And ultimately, some switches did become disassembled, probably about 7 or 8 in the entire process, just kind of totally disassembled. It's a fairly easy fix, but it is a little scary, especially if you're new to this stuff, when, you know, the switch breaks up into 5 pieces and you got to push the spring back in and line it all up. It makes you a bit uneasy, but it was doable. And I mean, ultimately, I'm still really happy with this keyboard. It's not like you do this every week. You do it maybe probably no more than 4 times in the entire keyboard's lifetime, depending on who you are. But for most people, I'm sure you'll just never do it. So there you go. In conclusion, I'm very happy with this keyboard. It is the best of all worlds. It is small, sleek, and affordable, starting at $70. It has gamery features like RGB, and it's a great way to break into custom keyboards. I mean, there's swappable keys, different types of switches to test without the headache of actually building your own keyboard. And it keeps the chiclet-esque vibe of a premium laptop keyboard. I'm talking about the spaced out keys and the lower but not too low travel, married with the customizability and satisfaction of a more traditional mechanical keyboard. This is a great all-rounder that I think fills a niche that I personally fall into, and I think a lot of others also quite perfectly. And now I'm going to leave the sound test for the rest of the video. Have a good one, and I will catch you next time.